Hello, everybody. Welcome back to IntyCenter. We are into September in universe, and I am trying to see how much fake baseball I can get through before we load up all of the cargo ships, the Millennium Falcon, and we head north back to Echo Base. So we will jump right into the baseball here, and we're going to start off with Tris Speaker. Why Tris Speaker? Because he had an RBI double, and Roger Bresnahan added a two-run single in the bottom of the first as the Gales of November grabbed an early 3-0 lead over Jolly Roger. Now, they wouldn't get much more the rest of the way. Just a Gabby Kravitz RBI double in the fifth to add to the run totals. And when Cal Ripken Jr. singled home Roberto Clemente in the top of the eighth to pull the visitors within 4-3, we were in for a tight finish. But Joe Nathan retired the pinch-hitting Al Oliver to end the game, and the Gales are going to hang on for that 4-3 win. Thanks to a couple of Scythy errors, Albuquerque scored two in the first. David Price then held Scythy off the scoreboard through 8, and it was a good thing he did because Bob Gibson didn't allow another run the rest of the way. In the ninth, Denny Lyons got a leadoff double, moved to third on a ground out, and scored on a Bill Dickey sac fly. But Paul Hines popped out to end the game, and the all-seeing Angels of Hernandez hang on for that 2-1 win. Mookie Betts, best last name in baseball. He hit a game-tying homer in the bottom of the eighth as Atlanta and Reseda meet with the distinction of trying to avoid being the first team mathematically eliminated. That game-tying homer for Mookie ends up sending us to extra innings. We are tied at 1 on a day when both Dave Steve and Mike Scott deserve better than no decisions, but sometimes that's what you get. The decision does finally come in the 11th when Mike Tiernan reaches on an error, and that unearned run gets scored on a sac fly from Thurman Munson. Bruce Sutter works around a leadoff walk for the save, and Atlanta Animes win that one 2-1. Hey, Charles Old Hoss Radburn had a pretty dominant start, and his team actually won the game. That's the big surprise there. Radburn tosses an 8-hit complete game shutout. Eddie Collins homers and has himself a 3-hit day, and the Enhancers win that one 4-0. Now, folks, we got vintage Sandy Koufax as the Free Fallers took game 2 of that pillow fight series. Koufax scattered 4 hits over 8 1/3 scoreless innings. He also hits a 3-run homer to back his own cause. Free Fallers win it 6-0. We're not going to cover all 3 games of that series, but the third game was also a dandy. Check out the box score. Now, normally, if you knew that Jacob deGrom gave up 3 runs in the game, you'd chalk that up to a loss or at best a no decision. But on this day, Al Simmons and Honus Wagner each homered. Performance enhancers pound out 13 hits worth 11 runs, and they're going to win that one 11-3. Russ Ford, he was absolutely dominant for the Angels. He gets an 8-hit shutout of Scythy. My notes say 8-pitch shutout, which would just be really remarkable to get 27 outs on 8 pitches. So 8-hit shutout is the actual fact there. Miguel Cabrera, he gets 4 hits on the day. Albuquerque wins that one 8-0 as they try to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. Wade Boggs got an RBI single in the third. That puts up Game of Thrones 1-0. And a Bubbles Hargrave RBI single in the seventh tied it and almost put Amazings ahead. But Augie Galland threw out Darrell Evans at home to end the inning in what was kind of a microcosm for Amazings this season. In the top of the eighth, Archie Vaughn makes sure that microcosm continues. He singles home Elmer Flick. Game of Thrones holds on for a 2-1 win. It's been that kind of year for Amazings, and yet still a less frustrating year than watching their favorite major league team. Let's play 2. How about let's win 2? Let's Play 2 was down 4-0 entering the sixth, but Frank Thomas hits a 3-run homer to get them on the board in their game that was rained out a day earlier. Hank Aaron scores on a wild pitch in the eighth to tie it up, and Andre Dawson, he hits a 1-out walk-off homer to give Let's Play 2 the first game in the doubleheader. Second game needed no such drama. Nolan Ryan did what the Ryan Express has been doing all season so far. This time, that's a 7-inning effort. Shutout baseball. He strikes out 12 in those 7 innings. Ernie Banks homered. Let's Play 2 sweep both the doubleheader and the series. For the Surfers, that means they've now lost 7 in a row. They could be wrapping up a playoff spot instead. They seem to have lost all momentum. Folks, we're not going to quote him here on IntyCenter because we do have standards, but just check out the box score and see what San Francisco manager Wang Chi said about his starting pitcher, Dick Redding, this time. We're not going to quote him. Just go read it for yourself. Shaq Barons stayed a mound. They couldn't decide their series finale in 9 innings, so they used a few extra. In the 12th, a Ted Williams RBI single finally breaks the 2-2 tie, and then Pete Browning hits a 2-run homer to give his team some breathing room. Dan Brothers actually steps to the plate in the bottom of the 12th with 1 out. He's representing the tying run, but he hits into the game-ending 4-6 3-double play, and Birmingham Shaq Barons hang on to win that one 5-2. Last one we'll talk about this time on IntyCenter, Jack Glasscock. How about a double and a triple? Driving in a pair of runs. Sithy beat Albuquerque. They avoid the sweep. Cy Blanton, good enough in this one. He goes 6 2/3 innings. He gives up 2 runs on 6 hits, and Sithy will win that one at 6-2. That will do it for us this time on IntyCenter, and we will catch you next time for our next whip around FODEUSS.